Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is the most requested topic that everybody has been asking me. So as you all know, I am having conversations with people on a daily basis. So almost every learner asks me this question for sure. Ma'am, how did you learn English? How did you become fluent in English? So I thought of making a separate video and telling and sharing my experience how I learned English. So I would want to divide my experience into two categories. First one, how I learned English from external factors, which is my school, my friends, my career, the environment that I was exposed to outside of my home. And the next category, I would say my experience of how I learned English within my home. If I include both of these categories in one video, I think the video is going to be very long. So I would make it in two parts. So in this video, I will be talking about the external factors that influenced my English. In the coming video, I will be sharing my experience of how my dad contributed in my English speaking skills. So watch out for that video because I'm sure it is going to be definitely helpful for each one of you. So let's dive into today's video. As a kid, I got admission into an English medium school. I studied in a convent school. For those of you who studied in a convent, you would be knowing this, that the teachers there are basically nuns. Nuns are women who do not get married for their whole life. And these women belonged from different parts of India. And communication between themselves was only in English. So my school was one of the top schools of my city back in the 90s when I was a student. So my teachers always encouraged us to speak in English. It was rather mandatory for us to speak in English. Only the language teachers who taught us Kannada and Hindi, they had to speak to us only in Kannada and Hindi respectively. Other than that, science, history, mathematics, whatever other teachers were there, it was compulsory for them as well to talk to us only in English, and the teachers have to talk to each other only in English as long as they were in the campus. If somebody spotted us talking in a native language, we would be called to the principal's cabin or we would be scolded in front of a class, which was very embarrassing. I was a very sensitive kid. I still am. I believe in going according to the rules set for me. I am not a rule breaker. I am usually quiet and obedient. So I never took the risk of talking in my native language. I only communicated in English at school. So after coming back home, the situation was such that I had to speak English even at home. And as I told you, I will continue that part in the part 2. So 9 years of my life, that is from 1st standard to 9th standard, I spent in the convent. And that influence, that kind of gave me the foundation in English. For 10th, I moved to Chennai. In Chennai, I did not know the Tamil language and none of the Tamilians spoke other language like Hindi. So I was forced there as well to speak in English. The teachers and the students spoke in Tamil, but I had no idea about Tamil. So I had to speak in English. So that was my school experience and my experience with English in my school days. I moved to Bangalore for my 11th and 12th. In Bangalore, I did not speak much of English because we were in college and the way the teachers dealt with us was different. There were no set rules for us that we had to speak only in English. So I made some really great friends in my PU and I spoke Kannada with them. It would be a mixture of Kannada and English. So these 2 years, I wasn't much into English. Later, during my engineering days, again, English was back. In my engineering days, I was also given training as part of a college campus interview preparation. I had to undergo this campus interview process with a company. I was given soft skills training. I was not good at practicals. Writing codes and executing them was not my cup of tea. I wasn't very good in my technical round, but my soft skills round, I did good. Maybe that was one of the main reasons they selected me. I think so. After being selected from my college, I went to work in the IT sector. And no prizes for guessing. When I entered my office, I spoke only in English. After working for a couple of years in the IT sector, I got married and I moved abroad. I went to Melbourne, Australia. Before going to Melbourne, I actually attempted an IELTS exam. IELTS is nothing but International English Language Testing System. And for this exam, my husband sent me some books related to reading, writing, speaking and listening. One book related to each module on how I should prepare for the exam. I did not take any special coaching for IELTS. I just prepared out of these books and I got a band of 8 in IELTS in the year 2010. After moving to Melbourne, I did not get a chance to interact more with native speakers because the places that I worked in, I did some odd jobs in Melbourne. So the places that I worked in had employees from Nepal, Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, and they would love to communicate with each other in Hindi. Other employees were from Turkey, Lebanon, Syria, with whom I spoke English, but trust me, their English was very bad. There was no grammar in their sentences at all. The only native speakers that I interacted with were the officials from the customs or immigration or government officials in Australia, and that was not very often. I stayed there roughly for 7 or 8 years, after which I came back to India. After this, I wouldn't add anything to my English experience because at my in-laws' place, I do not have an environment of English, but I speak just 1 or 2 sentences here and there with my husband and my children. But that's it. So this was basically my entire life story and my association with the English language. Basically, I read, wrote and listened to English from my teachers for the speaking part, I spoke with my friends and my teachers, and back home I spoke English with my dad and my siblings. So as I told you, I'll be making another video for this. It's going to be very interesting and it's going to be a video that is really close to my heart. So that's it for this video. I will make a part 2 in the coming days. And I hope you like it. I hope this answers at least some of your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.